So clams are supposed to be. This is a different tree. I don't recognize this. Birds mad. They're like, what are you doing going into the forest? Stay out of the forest, pal. This is our spot. They don't mind if I stay out on the beach. They like keeping the forest to themselves. It's all the different birds sounding off. I went into the forest back there when I was looking for pawpaws. Found some more pawpaw patches, nothing on them. But I angered the birds. And they did the same thing, you know, as soon as you walk into the forest, they start getting a little defensive. Oh, whoops. So I don't think they log this area. Anything within like a few hundred yards, 100 or so yards of the water's edge, they don't log. So you have a lot of nice old growth trees back in here. It's a nice old growth forest along the water's edge. They're supposed to be sugar maples and red maples. For a while, I was thinking that these sycamores were all red maples. You know, it was just a ton of different kinds of red maple everywhere. But turns out it's red maples and sycamores. Red maple is like third or fourth best for making maple syrup. Sugar maple being the best. Maybe 60 gallons of red maple sap to make 1 gallon of syrup versus 40 gallons of sugar maple sap to make maple syrup. But I could probably find a nice... Now I'm going to plant sugar maples on the property on my place. I have a little, you know, sugar evaporator in between them, you know, a nice little spot made for it. So it's like maple, 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 you know, big ring of maples, and then a deck in between them with the roof, you know, and store firewood under that roof and have the evaporator right there. Have a sunroof, you know, so it lets the sun in to help sun dry the syrups. So I'm not firing it with wood. And just have all those trees tubed into the pot, you know, so I'm not hauling around sap. But it'll take 20 years for those sugar maples to grow into tappable sizes. So, you know, in the meantime, finding a spot where there's a lot of maples like that, you know, like a cluster of 8 or 10 in a small spot where I can just do short trips. I should be able to find that kind of a spot somewhere in these trees. Probably red maple, but better than nothing. I'm not sure if I've actually seen sugar maple leaves yet. You know, I know that they're supposed to be around. Got red mulberry leaves right there. Wild red mulberry. Almost looks like dead pawpaw leaves in the back, all the brown ones. Like that's nice little pawpaw patch. It's already past its pawpaws lose their leaf pretty early. I think it's past its prime. Nice sandy beach. And the water's like mid-range. Some mayflies out here. Viney seed pods. I still don't know what these are. They're on a vine, not a tree. Oh wait, are these those ones, the pea ones, or are these the little ones? Yeah, these are the bean ones. This one's got black beans in it. Sweet if these were edible. I mean, these are literally the size of a dried black bean. You know, these are dried. They feel a lot lighter than the black bean though. They're like a third of the weight of a black bean. So probably not as filling. Bunch of mayflies over here. And it's something. I was trying to find what these seed vines were. I couldn't figure it out. I'm gonna hold on to these seeds though. These are a different kind of seed. Maybe I can figure out what this vine is. Autumn's setting in. nice colors right there. Oh, I think bright green would match with some, I don't know, maroon, rust. Some of them are still bright green. Sweet gum leaves. Some nice sap. And a tree is chewing on it, it looks like. A woodchuck or something. Chewing there and pretty much all over that. Yeah, it's nice being in the shade. Being in the sun, you're overheating. But a bit of a breeze today. So it's actually quite comfortable, despite it being 95. Quite comfortable being in the shade. There are a ton of vines around here. Get massive walls of vines. Is this a hickory? So this is the tree that makes those. Thing I was thinking was the swamp rose maliseed. I don't know what these are. What kind of tree this is. Got a little knob at the end of the branch. Look at that, I got these. Let's see what we got. Kind of like a plastic coated paper. There's a lot of the common ones on it. Like maybe a grasshopper flopping around. Something's flopping around out there. Over by that thing. Let's see. Yeah, it's not on my list. I don't recognize this from the list. This one is loaded with them though. Whatever they are. Nothing is eating them. So they may not be tasty. But they're definitely plentiful. Not a bad smell. Smells kind of like a mix between a mulberry and a grape. It's a thin, fruity outer layer. Oh wow. One big seed, kind of like a peach pit. Real thin, but the fruit flesh is like attached to it. Smells good. It didn't taste good. Yeah, doesn't taste good. It has a nice smell to it though. It smells fruity, but it tastes like a bitter tart. Real similar, I guess, to a wild grape. You know, wild grape does not taste good. Wash my hands. Don't float away. Could be good for some cookings. If it's edible. I don't know what it is. It's edible though. Let's see. This anchor. This one's anchor. Well, guys, so tiny. Oh. Let's see. Tiny little skink. Smaller than the snail. It's not a baby. That's like pretty much a full-grown adult right there. He's a little small. He'll get maybe like twice that big once he's monster size. But that's they're like these really tiny skinks. A little runny. Ran down the side. You've been eating too many clams, guy. There's another hole back there. I remember using that hole. Not a bad place to do your morning poo, though. Looking out at that every morning. That's where the sun rises, right there. Watching the sun crest over the island. Drop off the kids. This is like a little floodplain back in here. Oh yeah. Well, one thing's green briars. These little seeds. Got these leaves, and their thorns stands like right straight at a 90 degree. These seeds, berries, will turn purple, and once they turn purple they taste good, but right now they're hard and nasty. Cool thing about that is there's a ton of briars around. They're a very common one, and this is what I use for my shampoo and body wash. This vine right here. Oh, this is nasty, 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 nasty. Two kinds of vines. One with those leaves, and then one with that. Poison ivy. These are the really cool crane flies right here. They just kind of hover. They kind of look like a walking stick floating through the air. Small walking stick that floats through the air when they fly. He doesn't want to fly, he just wants to walk. So what do we got in a floodplain? Yeah, fall's the season for traditionally the season for like chicken of the woods and a lot of other mushrooms. And while it's technically turned fall a week ago, still too hot. So you have pawpaw. That's got the baby leaf at the tip, not a full leaf. Another pawpaw back there. The beautiful white flowers. And then up at my place, these things are massive bushes. They get so much light up at my place that they're massive. Pawpaw. More pawpaws. Trees. No fruits. This is like the off year for fruiting. The pawpaws. Cicada. Shell. So it's kind of like the high water bank right there. Kind of see it's eroded out a little. When it's at high water level, that's the shoreline, but now it's way down there. Yeah, so these briars are everywhere. Leaves are supposed to be edible. Better in the leaves are better, I guess, you know. Everything is better in the spring. Well, they're still fresh, leaf-wise. But then the greenbrier seeds, they'll stay on the vine throughout the beginning part of winter. So you don't need to harvest them right away, you know. Let's say you're busy harvesting this, that, and the other. you don't get around to it, it's not a thing. It's actually better. In winter, sweeter, the berries. Was a rough wild edible, but now it's actually kind of nice. Or it was a rough wild plant because those things get everywhere. You trip on them all the time. The greenbrier vines, they snag you. It's a hassle having them around and trying to move through them. But if you get to eat them and their berries, and their berries actually taste good, can't go wrong with that. On to one bar. You start to meander and look at things. I'm gonna run out of battery power real fast. Nice pebbly beach. Not too much in the way of shells. Yeah, you need this when you're out in the sun, but being in the shade like this just kind of gets in the way. Try looking around and it falls off your head. Somebody's been eating the bark off the sweet gum again. Something loves that sweet gum sap. That sweet gum cambium that is in our bark on a tree. That's an oak though. Something really loves the cambium on that sweet gum. This is interesting. Cattle panel. Back when people were living out here. Kind of see. Now, here's my hand. This tree is 3 foot wide and it's right in the center. You know, it's like 18 inches and 18 inches to either side. This is some barbed wire, some cattle panel below it. So way back in the day, 18 inches of wood growth, you know. This is an old fence line. Whew. Since then, you know, they flooded the guy's pasture land to make the lake. And the forest is retaking the fence. And I can just walk over this pretty easily. But at one point, this was a formidable barrier. 4.5, 5 feet tall, you would think. Deposited, the lake has deposited all this gravel down here. It's been washed out from up there, and it's building it up down here. And my battery's flashing on E. So I'm gonna charge up the camera a little bit right in here. And then start back up. Battery's gonna die. It takes too long to recharge. But kind of see. So I'm just gonna see how far I can make it real quick. Rex Island. There's the island behind Rex Island. There's the island with no name. Behind that is Pirate Cove Island. Whoops. Pirate Cove Island behind it. It looks like it's got a oh, it's a dead tree on the back side of it. And it stretches out. Good to all these islands. I wasn't gonna try to record them. 2 egrets and a heron were chilling over there. And you see that way over there. And they see me. I was recharging right over there, so I was kind of tucked away. Couldn't see me. Massive long. This is all island chain right here. Island chain, barely connected. Barely connected. And then, you know, that's the flat I gotta walk across. I gotta cut across that to get to Rex Island. So the actual way to get out to there is to go from Rex Island to the island behind it. Then from that island to go to Pirate Cove Island. And then from Pirate Cove Island to cut across to this island. And then from this island to go that way. So it's kind of a... to follow the mud flats at their shallowest points, you know, that's the route you gotta take. Wow, that thing just fell apart. This is an old one. Turtle shell. And I got like half of a bar on my camera, charging it for, I don't know, 20-30 minutes. And this is got, you know, it's right off the bat, it's already flashing the battery thing, and now there's like no bar. So hopefully I can make it around this bend, get a better view of Rex Island. Kind of got to hoof it. So it's T-bars and a thing. I don't know what they were doing. Is that like... so apparently, apparently something and something. Yeah, it doesn't really charge my camera, plugging it into my radio. Like my radio battery doesn't have enough power to actually charge the camera. So what do you call it? Finished up. This is next day. Finished the hike today. Nice water seep right here. Seeping out from the hillside. Woodpecker up there somewhere. There's no bacteria or bugs or things that readily eat the shells. So it just becomes this. Oh, it's interesting. Some minnows in there. I'm pretty sure one of them just zipped into the water from the air. I don't know if it'll show on this. There's a nice little school of shiners. Moving over in their way. Along the shores. So all these shells. It'd be like that with everything. But goodness is break them down. Yeah, it's a bit murky, this water, being so shallow. Just kind of all the fine particulates got nowhere left to settle down to. Pretty much down there at the shade. Very nice. 96 degrees today. Hot and sunny. Kind of a nice end times fall day. Oh, that guy is fast. This is tiny little, probably a predatory minnow, zipping around from rock to rock. It makes a pretty good storm, dust cloud. There, oh, he's so fast. Some little water beetles. It'd be cool to find one of these worms. There's gotta be like worms around, making burrows and things. The little bug's walking on the larva and he gets washed away. Eating that green goodness, or is he depositing it? Ooh, there we go. A little catfish. A little baby one. So that's where they go during the day. They just hide under the rocks. Very nice. Another one of those little larvae. It's pretty cool shells. Apparently catfish have barbs, which may or may not have poison in them. Barbs on their fins, not their whiskers. Whiskers are just sensory. Some fish darted off right as I was about to lift it. It looks smaller than the catfish, but it must have been the catfish. It's just kind of chasing that catfish around. Oh, no, there he is. So he's got like a little barb and a little barb in his pin. He's a tiny little guy. Okay, guy, there you go. Kind of cool that I let you catch him. Find some cover, I'll leave you alone. I raised like a couple of those guys. Catfish meat is real fatty and juicy and nice. You just don't want the outer bit, like I think it's red, thin red layer right at the skin, because that makes it taste nasty. But other than that, it's like great tasting. Oh, I did a different hike. Managed to use up pretty much all of my battery on that other hike. Getting back out here. Cutting through the woods. So this is just going to be kind of a quick document of the lay of the land. Yeah, I've done it one bar already. I just started. Another clam feast. Probably about 30-40 clams right there. Clam goodness. So nice shore, beach. There's your standard water line where all those lumbers are. Down there, you'd pretty much be up to your neck in the water when it's that normal thing. So you got a nice rocky shore to walk on to get down into the water. So this is a beautiful shore right here. Won't be stepping in any mud. It's just, you know, the mud is just nasty. Some beautiful cypresses. So eventually maybe just a little camping shack or something, you know. I really want my camping shacks in a spot where they're useful. Either it almost looks like a fossilized plant. Wrote it down so you can hardly even tell that it's a plant, but like it used to be a plant. Down in this town. One cool fossil. It's either fish fin or like a dragonfly wing. Got that look to it that I found. It's nice. Smell back here. Oh, sweet gums. Something's been chewing on it. It's a pawpaw seed right there, and that might be a persimmon seed. Eating unripe persimmons. It's pretty bold. Unripe persimmons are rough. He's chewed off all the bark on this guy. Exposed bark right there. Kind of like smells like a baked good, kind of like a cookie, you know. Notes of like cinnamon and clove. This is cool hickory right here. It's got a nice tasting nut. This is another passion flower. But I don't think it's the kind that I got. Either that or it's just malnourished. I'm not seeing any flowers on it. Oh, oh, oh. Look like it's got the 3-pronged leaf. Those prongs were grooved a lot deeper than the variety that I got. Could just be, you know, it's just older or something. It is odd how murky the water is. Could be that the water's starting to rise. I think it started raining someplace up north. Oh, it's a snowstorm. There's a snowstorm somewheres. Yeah, I'm not even wearing a shirt right now. Shade cooling off and letting it dry. Wrang out my shirt and hung it up to dry down yonder where it came out of the woods. I do like just the look of it, you know. It's a beautiful look. Distant shore, the islands. Bright green in the sun, placid waters. Well, not placid, but you know, it's not like monster waves. This is cool. Persimmon. One of the best ways to grow persimmons, still, I learned my lesson not to eat a unripe persimmon. These are still hard. Wait for them to soften. Persimmons put out a little baby trees. Mr. Grasshopper. And they put out little baby trees. Root offshoots. Where's my hallucinogenic seeds, Mr. Morning Glory? One of the best ways to propagate the persimmon. So I want to grow a lot of persimmon trees as well. They grow wild around here, so you know they can handle the extremes, the droughts and the wets, you know, and the heats and the colds. So. And the bugs, you know, it's kind of they're tolerant to the conditions that I have around here. So I should be able to grow them relatively easily. Nice little water seep. The persimmon over at my driveway doesn't do something. Looks like just a rock, but it's one of those 90-degree clams. There's this little breathe tube. You can kind of pick it out from the thing by its breathe tube. Do some climbing and some fruit gathering, you know. I guess that would kind of make this spot a functional shack area, because it's got a nice little clam bed, and then there's all that clam beds, and really don't want to put a shack anywhere closer to the thing because there's too many people in those areas. But you know, kind of over here is a little further away. I think all this is state land, or the state has an easement on it or something, or federal, you know, owned by like the Tennessee Valley Authority or something. It's kind of a general quarter mile, half mile from the shore of the lake. It's kind of all, you know, old growth, you know, like no one's allowed to do anything on it with it. So it should be safe. I got the duck blind over there and over there. So they really don't need to put a duck blind over here since there's so many already around. I'd probably leave it be. Get in the shade a little. Trying to get sweat in my eyes. There's a couple more persimmon trees around. Two or three I saw yesterday. Cool thing about the trees is they're like a deer skeleton. I'm assuming it's a deer skeleton. No skull. The rest of the skeleton though. There's a skull about a third of a mile inland over there. I'm guessing it belongs to that guy. I think maybe the coyotes were roaming around the shore and found it and managed to drag off the skull to chew on later. A lot of helicopter traffic. Oh, yeah. Trees doing the dynamic accumulating. So it's kind of like all this nutrition gets leached down into the soils, the grounds. And it would just turn into some stalactites and stalagmites and stuff. Which are pretty cool, but it'd be wasted. This looks like a UFO. It's a little speck. Yeah, there's a lot of mayflies around. But instead of being wasted, lost in the ground, trees roots grow super deep, get all that nutrition up from the ground and put it in a usable spot, you know, in their leaves and in their fruits and all of that, so that other things can use the nutrition rather than it just returning to the dirt for good. And trees are like life. Without trees, you have a hard go of it. Need them for making shelters, or the animals need them for shelters. You need them for heat. Burn it. Burn the wood for heat. And you need it for a stick to dig with. Do a pointed stick and dig into the dirts. These look like persimmon tree leaves. There's really no getting around the technology. The helicopters, and airplanes. It's kind of crazy. People around the world, across the globe, believe in different religions, different sciences, different whatever's ideologies, but there's one thing they all believe in, and they all base their life around, across the globe, and that's technology. Kind of people think they can't live without technology, that you just die without it. It's kind of the one thing everyone in the world worships: technology. Kind of just permeates everywhere and everything. People don't even realize it, that they're worshipping it. Huh, look at this. Looks like my hat. Wait a minute. Oh, my shirt, backpack. Yeah, cut through the forest. I was trying to cut through further up, but didn't, missed it by a ways. These are some pretty steep hills. So I'm gonna get situated and then continue the hike. Okay. So a feather. Big feather, I guess. Yeah, so seems to me, and it's kind of like, with the end times, that'll be it for technology. It'll be a return to basic ways. So looking at it, you kind of look, where did humanity go wrong? In my opinion, humanity's wrong right now, as is. It's kind of, you need exponential growth to kind of maintain this system, and there's only so much growth that can occur. There's only so much growth that the environment can sustain. It's kind of, you need more and more and more, and your supply dwindles, and you need more and more and more investment. It's kind of you need more and more people, to keep this thing going. And then it's all for, it's just wrong, Got a lot of birds. Nice egret. Some gulls. So the system is unsustainable and employs the role people have to play in it in order to keep it going. That's a big bird. That looks like a nice big eagle. Where is he? that Mr. Bald Eagle? He's doing a lot of flapping. Where you going, guy? I was hoping to get a good look at his head. He's flying too far away. Got the crows over there. He flew right past the crows. The crows didn't even want to molest him. They're like, no, we're not messing with that. We're not stupid. Well, that looked like an eagle. Not really a bald eagle, but it was too hard to say. I see there's like 15, 20 turkeys down in here. I was just kind of herding them that way. That's the old shoreline. This is all mud flat, you know. This is, you know, like a football field, a mud flat, maybe. Nice bunch of seagulls. Yeah, so, I mean, the roles that people play to keep this thing going, you know, like investment banker and telemarketer and miner and grocery store people and factory worker, you know. Those are all not natural roles for people. So, I mean, it's a system which cannot, you know, continue in its current state. And just trying to get it to continue in its current state is, you know, leads people to the depressions and the mass shootings and the suicides and the pointlessness, you know. It's kind of the roles that people play, men and women. You end up married, but as, you know, more alone than I am, you know, just being out here out in the middle of nowhere. You know, it's kind of the reality of it is, you know, I'm alone. You can accept that and, you know, find company with the little bits of life that are there, you know. But when you're kind of in one of those foul marriages, you know, that kind of modern society breeds, you're even more alone than I am, because it's like you should be, you know, accompanied, you know, but it's kind of, it's all just pointless. Kids don't do something and all that. Kind of iffy if I can walk on this stuff or not. Yeah, so where people went wrong was probably the Stone Age, I'm thinking. When you get off of hunter-gathering is where you start drifting. When you're doing the hunting gathering, extremely rough, you know. I'd be like an old man in that world. Die, you know, you're old and dying when you're 40. But let's see if I can cross. It's gonna be scary. Tried crossing that yesterday back there, and it's just a fight the whole ways. I'm hoping I'm far enough out that it won't be that bad. algae, some seaweeds, tiny little baby minnows, you know, like here and there. Looks like a rock. So there's a little stream bed. And I'm hoping the little stream bed widens and flattens right around here rather than getting deeper. It's so murky, I can't tell how deep this is. I'm wearing my short boots. Hope it's rocky enough that I don't sink in. Oh wowie wow wow, I managed to make it across. It was a fight trying to cross over there. All trees. Oh no, I'm starting to sink. Yeah, I guess you just gotta keep moving if you stop and start sinking in. Find a low spot, you know, that was a little puddle. So they all accumulated there, and then that too dried. So went those snails. Let's see what we got. Crossability. So right after this, I'm going to try to cut across. I'm going to charge up this in the car and put on my longer boots. Go out around that, and I can, about an hour or two from now, let this phone or let this camera charge up. It's about to die. But here's Rex Island though, right up there. If it dies before I get there, you know, this is the campground mud flats right here. Let's see. That's where I walked across to, right there, last time. It's probably where I'm going to cut across again this time. Maybe right here. I think this might be a better spot. Shallowest spot should be somewhere right in here, kind of angling up. So that's the old duck blind. Kind of going at an angle from that duck blind towards me, past this little tree. Satellite imagery that I got. Kind of old, several years old, you know, and these mud flats move around with the current. But this was the shallowest crossing. There was like a little crossing point. It looks like it's moved it down to there, then pushed back and back. Managed to make the crossing last time though, so I might as well do it again. It looks deep, but that's just because it's so murky. It's like the central part of the waters just stays murky, it looks like. Got a kingfisher, a bird, and some fish. Little baby fish. Yeah, so I mean, Stone Age is where we went wrong. Started to go wrong when we started farming, you know, trying to breed plants and animals to fit our needs rather than, I don't know what kind of a bird that is. Okay, it's a heron. Rather than embracing the environment for what it is. And it's kind of at that point where it's like, let's change what's here into something else. And you kind of start turning your back on what's there, the natural order. And it's just the first fork, you know, and it's just been all off track, getting further off track since then. And it's kind of like, how does something like the Dark Ages happen? You know, Roman civilization collapses, and it's kind of a loss of all stuff. Whew, made it. I was worried I'd sink in. It's like those people